I probably wrote about 50 songs. Yeah, there was quite a lot there. Obviously, you don't want, as I said before, you don't really want other songs to let the good ones down. So it was kind of easy to get rid of a lot of the bad stuff. But as I said, I had a lot of time to make mistakes, so I didn't mind that. Favourite lyric from Mirrors is probably the start of the second verse. Her coffee's cold. He turns around and says, "I hope you know you're beautiful. Have you ever been told?" I think it's one that a lot of people will relate to. It's quite cool. I guess the best part of making Flicker was being in a studio, something like this, and playing with a full live band, which is something that I'd never done before, and kind of being there for every nook and cranny, every drum sound, every guitar riff, and making sure we got everything right. And I think that was the most exciting part as a musician, and a new experience for me, and I can't wait to do it again. So to answer this question, I've got head of promotion here at Capitol Records. Greg, what is your favourite song of Flicker?
Seeing Blind.
Like Seeing Blind?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maren Morris.
Bit of a country fan?
No. I just like you. I'm a fan of yours.
Love you too, Greg. The first song that I wrote for the album was This Town, actually. I guess we kind of got off to a good start. It kind of blew up, and I didn't realise what had gone on, but it was a good start. On a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous was I with the album coming out? Obviously, every time you release music, you get really nervous. Obviously, I've been sitting on some of these songs since probably March, April last year, so it's been a long time. So I'm kind of more anxious to just let it out. So it's yours now. You can have it. I think Paper Houses took the longest to write. I wrote it with a guy called Ian Archer. He's written songs like, wrote a lot of Snow Patrol stuff. He was in Snow Patrol for a while. He wrote Hold Back the River with James Bay. And he's a good friend of mine. He's a Northern Irish guy. So we were in the studio in Notting Hill for quite, I think it might have taken 3 or 4 days. Trying to get a key as well. And my guitar, to play the song, I have to tune the guitar a tone and a half down, which is a long way. I recorded the whole album in LA. Spent a lot of last year and a lot of the start of this year in LA. My producer Jakir is from Nashville, so he came across here. Julian obviously is from here. Greg Kirsten's from here. So a lot of guys that I worked with are from here. So it was only right that I did them a favour and flew here. My favourite song to perform live is the title track of the album, Flicker. It's one of those songs that stands out to me on the album and will probably stand out in my career. I love playing it live. It's one of those songs that every time I pick up a guitar, I just happen to play that song. It's a very nice song. It means a lot to me. I was kind of lucky in the sense that I had a lot of time to write and make mistakes as well. So I did write a lot of bad ones. But the good ones that I wrote, I tried to be particular on what I picked for the album. I didn't want kind of really many songs letting down the album, hence the fact that there's only 13 songs between the normal one and the deluxe. So I tried to condense it as much as I can, and I think I did it. My favourite song of Harold's is I like Kiwi, great tune, good rock song. I love Two Ghosts, it's a great song. Very easy very easy to listen to. I like Carolina. Meet Me in the Hallway. There's some really good songs in that album. I really enjoy it. There were a couple that were really fun. Slow Hands was really fun. Not what I expected to write on that day, but it was such a laugh. You don't get to write a song like that all the time, so it was really fun. On My Own was even better. Actually, the producer that I wrote it with, he sent me a picture of our studio session from that day, and I might post it. It might be a bit much for people, but it is quite funny. I've obviously sat down with my agent and went through what kind of venues I would like to play next year, and I kind of told him if I wasn't doing Red Rocks, I wasn't going to do the tour. I'm getting the chance to play Red Rocks in Colorado. It's one of the most beautiful, scenic, unique venues there is, so I'm really looking forward to it. Hello. The last gig I seen was the late, great Tom Petty. I'm so happy that I got to see him before his passing. He's one of my biggest influences and one of the biggest legends of all time. So I'm very happy that I got to see that. I started writing it probably last March or April. I can't remember which month it is. I must check that out. And probably finished it. Did my last couple of songs probably in June or July this year. Then it goes to mixing period, and it's all the stuff that you don't need to care about. But yeah, it took about a good year and a half anyway. But definitely worthwhile. I think I got exactly what I wanted out of it, and I learned so much. Yeah, it was great working with Maren. I actually Skyped into the session. She was in Nashville with Jakir, recording it. But since then we've met up and we've done a couple of like little videos for it and stuff like that, little acoustic video. That I'm sure you'll see at some stage. She's great. She's great fun, and I'm sure we'll have a good laugh. Probably most of next year she's on tour with me, so I'm sure we'll have a great time. And think Flickr, and that's probably half the reason why I like it so much. I probably gave it four or five attempts at it. I was trying to get I felt like the concept was really good, and I was trying to get the music to match it. And sometimes you write a song and the music doesn't match what you were thinking in your head. So I basically scrapped it and restarted it. So when it came out the 5th or 6th time, I was very happy with it. Obviously, recently I just came across a guy called Lewis Capaldi, a Scottish guy, 20 years old. So make sure you check that one out. Big songs, Lost on You, Bruises. He's got there some of my favourites. Obviously, Mendes has got some big tunes out at the minute. Love New Rules by Dua Lipa. Rockstar by Post Malone, who's a top guy, so I'm happy for him. I guess overall, they're all quite personal. Suppose songs like Fire Away, Flicker, Too Much to Ask, Paper Houses, On My Own, I suppose, You and Me, yeah, all of them really, quite personal. When I listened to the album full way through, having track listed it and everything, I actually was driving around London. I drove up the river and was just kind of listening to the album in full, which was kind of cool to listen to it back to back like that. Obviously, hearing songs in different forms over the months leading up to that, it was different. So it was kind of nice to be able to hear it in that form. I always get asked this question. Obviously, there's obvious, ones that prop up, like with Sean and stuff like that would be great. There's things that happen randomly, like Maren, for instance. There's no way that, even a year ago I would have thought that I would have been doing a collaboration with a country artist. So it's nice when they happen randomly like that. So never know. Let's see what happens. I always get asked this question. Obviously, there's obvious, ones that prop up, like with Sean and stuff like that would be great. There's things that happen randomly, like Maren, for instance. There's no way that, even a year ago I would have thought that I would have been doing a collaboration with a country artist. So it's nice when they happen randomly like that. So never know. Let's see what happens.
To answer this one is Shima. Shima, which song means the most to you from the new album?
I would say Flicker, because it made me cry.
Oh, shames.
I suppose there's quite a few that are personal to me. I guess the one that clicked with me most in my head was Flicker, but a lot of them are quite personal. There's probably one or two that are not. For instance, Mirrors is from a scenario that I made up in my head, and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's about me. Yeah, Connor will be playing. Connor's the violin player. He'll be playing on a tour next year. I felt like violin was a nice touch. I was thinking about cello, but cello can be sometimes a little bit kind of a bit of a downer sometimes, but especially for my kind of gig. So violin is nice and bright, and Connor's an unbelievable player. So he'll be playing the whole album next year. I wrote most of it kind of everywhere, to be honest. Some with Jamie. Wrote 4 or 5 songs with Jamie, and that was in London. And I wrote some bits in Nashville that didn't make it, but I'd definitely be going down there again. Wrote a little bit in LA. Wrote some stuff on my own at home. A lot of Flickr was written at home by myself, mirrors and stuff like that. So yeah, Fire Away. So kind of bit of a mix of everything. I think they're two completely different songs, really. Obviously, Seeing Blind's a bit up tempo, got a bit of a country feel to it, hence the fact that Maren sings on it. And she brings that song to life really well. Paper House is a little bit more down and a bit more chilled out, a bit more kind of Damien Rice vibes. But two songs that I'm really happy with, and it seems that a lot of people are liking Paper Houses and Seeing Blind, which is good. I kind of I like all the slower ones because I like performing to a quiet audience during them, because I like going to gigs where the artist will play their ballad and the crowd will be stum and kind of listen. I kind of like that. So like songs like Fire Away, Paper Houses is a cool one to play too. So yeah, and Flickr obviously. I have a couple of favourite guitars. Actually, Capitol Records got me an Epiphone Texan from 1964, an acoustic guitar of mine for my birthday actually, and I recorded most of the album with it actually. It's in the dock, you can see it there. And the red Gibson 335 that I play on stage is one of my favourite guitars I've ever had. It's from 1961, so pretty much unheard of.